Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing the Hurst Pistol Grip Black Shift Knob, available for the 15 and newer Challengers. You should be checking this out if you're looking to ditch the factory, boring, and somewhat uncomfortable shift knob for something that has a lot more of a retro styling, gives you a more aggressive interior look, and honestly is usually more comfortable for most people. This option here is made from a pretty robust 6061 T6 billet aluminum. It's got the black finish, textured black on the side, more of a brushed aluminum on the side. It's also got the Hurst name outlined in white on both sides of the shift knob, and a gloss black shift collar. Now that boot adapter is going to screw right onto your factory shifter. It's got the same factory thread pitch of about 0.5 by 20. So anyone with that factory shifter inside of their trans, in their manual trans rather, will definitely be able to make this work. I recommend using blue Loctite to make sure that the shift knob itself, the pistol grip, has a tight squeeze on the collar provided in the kit. Just my personal 2 cents, but to each their own. If you do plan on swapping this out in the future, maybe reverting back to stock, or if you want to upgrade to something different, you could always unscrew that yourself with blue Loctite as opposed to red Loctite, which would make things a little bit harder. With all of that in mind, if you want to pick this up, it's about 50 bucks. Install is very simple, 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Anyone can tackle this with about 5 minutes in the driveway at home. You'll need a 16, 17, and a 19 millimeter wrench, and of course that blue Loctite if you want to take that route, the same route that I did. I'm going to take you guys through every single step of the process, starting with getting our factory one off. We'll take a closer look at the two, comparing them, and then we'll get to installing this. Tools used in this install include a 16, 17, and 19 millimeter wrench and blue Loctite. Jumping right into our uninstall here, what we're going to do is we're first going to push down our leather shift boot. Basically going to push it all the way down until it exposes the jam nut holding on the shifter adapter. Now the jam nut's a little bit farther down. Now to loosen up that jam nut, you're going to grab a 19 millimeter wrench, but you also have to hold on to the end of that shift boot adapter. Now that has flat edges on the bottom here for a wrench, and you're going to grab a 16 millimeter wrench to hold on to that. Now that one isn't really going to move as much. What that's going to do is just keep the shifter from rotating in the transmission. Now we're going to have to tighten the jam nut to move it downward. So it just breaks it loose, give it one more turn, and then we can back those wrenches off. From here, I'm just going to loosen up that jam nut. That allows us to have some play in the shifter. At this point, we can just unscrew this completely off. Perfect. At this point, we have our factory shift knob in hand along with our Hurst pistol grip, and as you can see, there's really nothing the same about these two shifters. You're going from the factory almost cue ball shaped with the 6-speed pattern on the top. It's got leather stitching, sort of like a baseball stitching, and it's got this somewhat diluted aluminum finish. It's not too bright, it's not really polished, it's just a little silver. It's nothing crazy, it just stands out like a sore thumb. Now the Hurst pistol grip here, textured black 6061 billet aluminum, the polished black metallic look on the shift boot adapter. One thing to note here, it does not have the shift pattern. So you're getting rid of pretty much all elements of the stock shifter and replacing it with something completely aftermarket and something very retro. Getting this installed is going to be basically the exact opposite order of what we just did. The only difference is these two are 2 pieces. This actually completely unscrews, being that shift adapter. This has the same flat bottom to make sure your 16 millimeter wrench goes right around it to hold it in place. But what we're gonna have to do is take these apart, and we are gonna put just a tiny dab of blue Loctite on the threads here to make sure that these do not come undone, especially under hard shifting. So that's step number 1 for the install. Once we take care of that, I'm gonna screw this back into place all the way and tighten it up. And then we're gonna basically do what we just did in the reverse order. Now, in order to prevent any dripping, I'm going to take my blue Loctite and dab it right on the inside of the handle itself. Now, I recommend using blue Loctite. Red Loctite is just a little bit more permanent. Blue will actually allow you to take it off in the future, but it won't come off while you're driving. Just have a small dab right on the end there, and we're going to go ahead and thread this on. With this threading on, it'll actually seal and cover all of the thread pitch and prevent it from coming off accidentally. Tighten that up by hand. Perfect. Now at this point, what we're going to do is basically just screw this into place on our factory shifter all the way down to about the point we want it to sit. What I recommend doing is once you remove your factory shifter, keep that jam nut in about the same place. If you move it too much, your shifter might be a little bit taller than it used to be, or it might be a little shorter. Now we're maxed out on this shift adapter, so what we're gonna do is follow that all the way back up. You wanna center the shift handle exactly where you want it, so get comfortable in your driving position. Make sure you have that where you think it feels the most comfortable. You're gonna back the collar up to the bottom of the shift boot. Now at this point, we're gonna grab our 19mm wrench to hold on to the jam nut, and we're gonna grab a 17mm wrench to hold on to the boot adapter. We're gonna tighten those up together, get those nice and tight. Now we can pull up the shift boot back into its regular position. Right about there. And we're good to go. Well guys, that's gonna wrap up my quick overview and install of the Hurst pistol grip shift knob in black, available for the 2015 and newer Challenger. And if you wanna pick one up for yourself, you can do so right here at AmericanMuscle.com.